Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy Allan here in San Antonio, Texas. And yes, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today we're going to be doing the Storybook Friends and the Garden Patch combined. Because when you look at the DSP paper, they're both combined as well as separate. And I'm going to show that to you. But today we're going to take a page out of the book of Yvonne Spickman. I've actually got it posted on my site here, and she actually did Technique Tuesday. So I sat there and put it out there, and we're going to try to decipher or dissect what she's done and recreate our own card. All right, so let me show you how we're going to do this. Let's go down the hands and see what we're going to do. All right, so these are the two sets we're using today, Storybook Garden Patch and Storybook Friends. So one's all about all the equipment, veggies and so forth and all that's actually in the garden. And this is the friends and the different things that we have here. So it does make a difference depending on what we want to do, right? So what I want to show you right off the bat is a lot of this stuff here, you sit on here and you see how we can stamp it and die cut it, right? And I'm going to show you another one as well too. So it's all about choices, right? What kind of technique you want to do. And then you can sit there and then die cut this here in a different color, which I'm going to show you how we did that today. So I did the green beans as well too. And I'll show you what that looks like. So it's all about what choices you want and whether you want to die cut, if you want to hand cut or fussy cut. So these are some of the ones I used for today's project, okay? Just to give you an idea where we're going, what we're doing. And then I also used some dies from here. I actually got this caught on my tape when I just pulled it out. So I actually pulled out one of these that we're using. And then we're also using some rabbits, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So it's about choices, right? So let me show you where we're going to begin from and where we got that idea from. And this is here. So this is, like I said, this is from Technique Tuesday. And it's on my site, so if you want to look at it, you can see it. And this is what they created. So lots of times we'll take this, or I'll take it and I'll dissect it, because this particular artist on the Artisan Design team is from the UK. And so if you go there, you're going to have to hit the translation to see what it's translates into, so forth and all. So in different markets like that, we don't always necessarily have the same colors. So I don't actually have this color of blue, but I do have a checkered that we're going to use. And I'm going to show you how we got to it. So part of it is dissecting. When we want to go recreate something, it's like, okay, well, where did all this stuff come from? All right. So at first, I was thinking I could die cut this and get this, but it's not. This is actually from the paper and the storybook series here. And it's actually fussy cut from this right here. Now, the animals here could either been, I'll show you in a minute, the actual paper came with punch outs that had some of these images, and some of them they didn't. Some of them we die cut out. So I'm going to show you a combination of both of those. But if you want to keep on dissecting it further, like you see this piece down here, it's actually just a strip from this right here. And I'm not going to use that because I don't have the blue checkered like here. But we can improvise and do something else, all right? And then the houses itself, I'll show you where those come from. So we don't have a stamp for that, right? So we have different paper. So you see this has got all kind of garden stuff on it. And I'm going to set that aside. And then we have one here that has all the houses on it, okay? So actually, to get this right here, what I did is I took the die. I took this die here, and I put it on a two-tone green. This is actually with the scrapbooking supplies to be able to get the two tones. So it's the same color, it's just a different tone, right? Sort of like when we stamp on and stamp off. So what I did is, when you cut this out with the die, right here, this is what you get. All right, so that's definitely not the look, when you look at this, that the person has, right? Because this is what the die looks like. So that's why you know that she actually went in and she had to fussy cut that out. Now this is actually had to cut out, right? So what I did here, because this is an oval shape, and I have nothing that's this kind of oval shape. But when you die cut this out, and I actually die cut this, I saved everything, right? Because we can actually make two cards. So this is, I die cut this out, and see which one I got, because I cut out two of these, a light one and a dark one. And see how that perfectly fits and gives you a perfect oval shape? Well, I turned around and did the same thing on the designer series paper here, so I could get my house so it would fit perfectly in here, like this. That's all I did, is I just took the same die, got my perfect circle cut out. But this is what I have left over too that we can use on something else, right? Because see how pretty this would look? So don't throw away your scraps or you think it's scraps. See if you go put that on a different color, how it's going to really pop and really look nice. So hold on to that. We're not using this part today, but we'll save it for something in the future. Because I've got this, I went ahead and die cut this out so I'd have my perfect oval and so it would match it directly in here. Because if you look at the photo, see how it perfectly matches in there? So you're going to have to cut it out so you can sit up there and get that look. So all I'm going to do with this here is just get it started. I'm going to actually just go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to actually use glue, because I want it to really rise up with, because this is a little bit thinner than cardstock. And I just want it to really sort of pop in the frame. So I'm just going to sit up here and just do it like this. And I'm just going to turn around and put it on top. All right. And it's going to fit perfectly in here when we go to put this on the card. Right? There you go. All right, let's take what else we got here. We got the rabbits and so forth and so on. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. So what I did to do the rabbits and all, I had two choices, right? You can either stamp them or die cut them or punch outs. Now, I don't have any of the punch outs, so I'm going to tell you punch outs. We have all, when you order the designer series paper, all these punch outs come with it. Now this represents, there's like 2 full sheets of it. So you got everything from rabbits to carrots. I'm going to say the carrots because we're going to use those. We can even use those too. We got greenery. So you got all these different choices. I'm going to just pull some of them aside. And we're going to actually color our own too. But so you have a variety. So a lot of my larger rabbits are not here because I've used them for our retreat for this Saturday. So I don't have them. But what I did do is I came into the designer series paper and I cut out rabbits. So when you see this right here, here's the die. Let's see, I'll show you where the dies are. So here's the die here. Here is another die right here. And then here is another die right here. So that just perfectly takes, as you can see, so it's not a punch out. If you looked at the punch outs, they're white on the back side, right? So definitely this is not white on the back side, so you know that it's got designer series paper. So that's one thing to look at. So when I flip this one over, it looks like this right here. But see, you can see where this came from right here. And then I have my rabbit that came from right here and the other rabbit. So we're going to use these. So I'm going to set those right there. But so we're using different techniques, right? So we're using die cutting to get this. We're using punch outs right here to get some other items. I'll cover this up. And then we'll mostly have to fussy cut some of this because some of these don't even have. So when you look at this right here, I believe there was a punch out for this rabbit. But there's only so many punch outs, right? So when you use them, then the next step is you're going to come and die cut the paper. So this one could have been either or, I'm not sure, since I don't have all my rabbits with me anymore. But it's choices, right? It's all about choices and what you want to do. And then I went ahead, as you can see here, I stamped and die cut. We're going to need more rabbits later, but I stamped and die cut my terracotta pots in this right here. And then I also have this here that fits perfectly right here. But we're going to use some different techniques. We're going to use some pencils on this, as well as we're going to use some blending with our little tips right here, okay? All right, so let's get going, right? Because it's all about our choices. So the next step is as we dissect all of this, the next step was deciding, since our paper wasn't exactly the same kind of paper, right? And here's some more. I just want to show you here. Here's some more too. It just, there was a bunch. I just put them in the bag just so I wouldn't lose them all, right? But I've used up all the rabbits, like I said, for our retreat. But there's plenty of others in here. You have plenty to choose from. So I did go ahead and pull out some other ones as well. Again, you can flip them over and see they're white. So these were actually die cut, or we can sit there and do our own. Just give us some choices, right? Okay, so the next step is looking at what they did with the paper. Okay, she did the envelope as well. And we're going to do that today. And we're going to do the inside. I don't normally do the inside like she has, but I think it's a good change, right? We're in a new year. It's a good time, good change. So when I look at the card here and we're trying to decide, I see that the card here is this size here. So I went to my handy dandy little templates I made. So I actually went, I made templates a long time ago. I hadn't shown them in a while. So I just went looking for the template that looked like it was about what it looked like on that there, since she didn't give any measurements and all. So that's what I'm going to go with. So this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 that I'm going to use right here. And then I'll use to show you how to use a template more later. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I'm not going to have the strip at the bottom like she did, right? Because I don't have, it's not in the color I have. So that's one of the things you have to improvise, right? If you don't have the color, then you're just going to improvise with what you do have. I could have done this in pink. We have pink checkered. We have yellow checkered. But didn't have anything actually in my stash that's blue checkered like hers. But like I said, you know, different markets has different things. But we're going to still make it as close as we can, right? So I'm going to put this on here. Next step is we're going to take this and put this on right here. Now this takes up pretty much most of this right here. And you can see it's big. And so this is actually bigger than what was actually here. That was like she fussy cut, because this is what she has here. And you can see it's a little bit bigger. See how much it's spread out more? So I had to make sure that I had enough, when I got my paper here, I had to make sure I had enough space, right? To put it on here. So I'm actually just going to get this on first. And I'm just going to put a little glue on different spots. I could put glue on the whole thing. You could, but I feel like I'm going to make a glue mess. I'm not going to make a glue mess. We're just going to anchor it down different spots. Just enough so I can sit there and put the centerpiece in there. And then we're going to also, besides using our little thimble, I can't think what you call it right now. It reminds me of a thimble that we're going to color with. But we're also going to use pencils in a stamping blend, or blending tool. So it's all about choices, right? So it does look like you put it right here. Now the other thing was, it looks like there's some leaves there. So I'm going to use some leaves I got here. And yes, we are live, so there's other people in the house. I am not the Lone Ranger. Now see, it's not going to look the same, right? Because the fact is, that's all colored in the background. I don't have that all colored in the background here. So let me just hold off. I may not like that as much. Let me go ahead and get this right in here. So now I don't even have to guess where this goes, because it perfectly fits right there. Okay. Now, if I wanted greenery coming from out of here, that would work there. So let's go ahead and do that. We can put some greenery coming out there if we want to. It just, because you see the plaid behind here, it really doesn't do the same effect as it does in hers up there, which she did hers. So I'm going to reserve to be able to do that. So as a result, I'm just going to do the bottom part here. And that way I can lift the top up part if I want to add that greenery. But see, just by sitting there and really just adding the piece that was die cut out and putting the house on top of it, it really gives it a little bit more lift than if you hadn't done that at all. So that's extra. We'll put that aside. Now we've got the rabbits. So we got a variety of rabbits here. This isn't the one that she used. She used some of the Scott. Since we're doing the garden today, we want to get some that's got some veggies, right? Somebody's holding some veggies. So let's get some people in here that's holding some veggies. Here we go. Now she's got a pumpkin in here. We're going to put this up on dimensionals. Got pumpkin and carrots in here. So we have choices with carrots. We can actually use the ones like right here. If you want more than this, this is a punch out, right? Because it's white on back. So we can put this one here, and it looks like they're on dimensionals. So we're just sort of building our scenery, right? We actually have some radishes. I like radishes, so I put some radishes. It's got more carrots. But you can see we got space to fill in. So if we want to go and do like the same type stuff here, we're going to have to put some more stuff in here, right? Because there's just a lot more here. So you see that it had the right here has the pumpkin. So if you want the pumpkin, we're going to have to cut it out, right? Because there doesn't have a die. So we're just going to fussy cut. Now, what it looks like she's done is she's made sure to leave color around each of it, right? So that it does look like it's a punch out. I'm just going to cut around here. Actually, we're going to use these little beans here in a minute to help us color. I'm not going to cut them out, but to help us color what we stamped, right? I'll sit there a second. So we're just going to go ahead and get there. We're just like I said, we're just going to work on filling in some of our veggies and different stuff. So it's always, like I said, it's about just, in this particular case, it's like they left, it didn't come around each and every leaf. It just looks like she went around right here. So yes, if you want to go to her site, you can. She's got a translator that'll translate to English. Because that's what I did. But there was no PDF tutorial, or a tutorial giving you step by step. So we're winging it, right? So when we wing it, that's when we go and dissect what someone's done and see if we can recreate it as close as we can, or we create our own, right? So when we say when we case something, it's like when we go and take something and do it exactly like they did it, or we get inspired, right? So in this particular case, I can't really case it because the fact is I don't have all the details. But so then what I'm doing is I'm taking what we see and creating that best I can, what I think is there. All right, so that's just how we're doing it. All right, so I'm just going to tuck some of this here. Like I said, I'm not going to glue anything down yet until we get our look. I just want to make sure I get some vegetables, fruits, vegetables, all of it, right? Okay, so we're going to have this right here, and we got some carrots. She's got more carrots in here. Instead of the extra carrots, I'm going to use the radishes. All right, just give it some more. And have these green beans too. So let's take the green beans. Now, I've already got it here, right? So I've already got it die cut out. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to use a Post-it note. Number 1 here, so it doesn't move around on me. Number 2, I'm going to use it just to sort of, even if I have to, here I got a smaller one. I'm just going to let it hold it down as we color it, right? So I'm just going to take pencils. All right, so I'm just going to hold this down, just have something to hold down so this like stays and doesn't fly off the counter here for me. And we're just going to take some pencils. So what I usually do when I use pencils, I usually start light, right? Because it's easier to start light and get darker. This is Granny Apple Green. And let's see, where's our other green? We got Coastal Cabana. We have another green in here. Let's see what other green we have in here. A really dark green. That's the one I'm looking for, is the dark green here. This is Coastal Cabana, so that's not it. All right, I'm just going to take them all out. Here it is. There we go. All right. Put that box right there. I got 2 boxes, right? Because we have 2 different pencil sets. So this one actually has the Granny Apple Green, and this one is actually the Garden Green. So those are the ones we're going to use here. And if we look here from what we have, all right, so when we're looking at the green beans, see how the different colors of green beans are right here? So we've got light here, this is a little bit darker. So we're going to sort of do the same thing. We're just going to sort of mimic what the paper looks like. So I'm just going to come down here. I'm just going to lightly do this at the moment because I can come back and color it, right? And it looks like we got some old olive maybe, but it looks like these little peas, right? Number 2, I like baby early peas, which reminds me of the English peas like this. But they have just a little bit different taste because they're not quite as mature. And we're just going to come, I'm not going to color this in, I'm just going to come and outline like this. And we're just going to pull that color in with a blending pen. I didn't know I was going to go outside there. And I'm just going to go right down the line there just a little bit, okay? And then we're going to take our blending pen here. And we're just going to, it's just going to make it look like it's been watercolored in. And see how I'm just going to brush on the line that I just did. It's going to give you that darker look, right? And I can come back in. Now, I can do it 2 ways. Or I can also take this and I can actually press down heavier, right? So everything about color is the lighter you want it, then you're going to have a lighter hand to it or darker. And you can see by blending the colors, we'll get what we want. Right, that's what it's all about, is getting what we want. And I'm going to come across here too. So I wanted to keep this on the light side. I want this on the dark side. So if I want it darker, I'm just going to add just a little bit more. And I don't have to color the whole thing. Same thing here. I'm just going to come here. And I don't have to color the whole thing. I can come. And we're just going to, it grabs color, right? And you can sit there, and it can give it dimensional as well too. Just depending on what you do. We're going to go ahead and put this up here. And get this right here. But when I come over here, I'm going to color these leaves light yellow. Not light yellow. Granny apple green. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like it wants to rain today. I'm not sure how much rain we're going to get today. But, you know, it goes with this whole gardening thing, because the more rain we finally get, everything's going to start popping up and growing, right? Because I got green onions already growing, and I have garlic growing. So, whoop, whoop. So, there you go. Now, I'm just going to add a little bit of this here. I'm just going to come down the middle. Right there. And right there. And right there. And you can just see what that's going to do for us, right? So it's not like I have to go and color it in completely or anything else. But if I want to lighten it or darken it any right, I'll have to do that. Now you see how that's just a little bit darker because I got a little bit more green there. And I used a different green here. So let's see if we can, I was going to see if I had a pencil sharpener. I don't think I do. Right nowadays we don't have to have pencil sharpeners. Except when you're doing something like this. So I'm just going to come down, again, down the middle. Now, if you get it too dark, you can use the color lifter. It acts a little different, you know, with the pencils and with this than it does the actual regular Stampin' Blends, but it's okay, it'll still work. Again, I'm just not doing the whole thing really dark. I want my light and dark contrast, right? I do want this a little bit darker up here. So I'm just going to use this right here. And actually, when I started out doing stuff, originally, almost 4 years ago, Stampin' Up. Well, it's actually longer than that, but I started off doing the pencils. I just was fascinated with the watercolor pencils, because I could sit there and alter my colors. I actually have an old olive in the other one as well, too, if I wanted to add another green to it, right? Okay, so I'm going to leave this be at the moment, but our green beans are going to come up here. In fact, I would rather my beans up here. But we'll see. We're going to either do it on the inside or outside. So let's do another technique while we're at it, okay? I'm in a coloring mode and get my coloring done. Here we have this. It's going to be like a terracotta pot, right? So I went ahead and did this right here. And I'm going to make it just a little bit darker, right? I want a flat look on it. I want more of a little bit of a textured look because, you know, I got terracotta pots in my front yard. And they don't quite look as smooth as that, right? Actually, they look even different because they've been out in the weather for a while. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, can't even think what you call it today, but I'm going to just take this and I'm just going to come across some areas right here. I'm not going to go across the whole thing. I'm just sort of going to come maybe around the edges so it just doesn't look like it's a flat color. And that's how I'm doing it. Just doing it with this right here. I'll have to post it later what the name of this tool is. It just goes on our fingertips, right? And we can just go and touch things up just a little and brush it as much as we want. So there we have that there. Okay, and I'm going to set that there. The pot, I'm not sure that it's going to go in front right now, but I want to show you the technique, right? So how we can get what we want. So with this in here, I'm actually going to color this with Cajun Craze, which I have right here, and Coastal Cabana are the two colors. We got Calypso Coral. Cajun Craze isn't this one. Let's go in this one then. Yeah, there's Cajun Craze. Alright, so basically combining two colors, right? Because the fact is what I stamped in. I stamped in Calypso Coral. And I'm looking. There it is. So it doesn't always. So see what the tip looks like, but here's what it looks like here. So sometimes when you look at the tip, you can't really tell. So I'm actually just going to come here with a Calypso Coral. And we already know some of this is going to get covered. So I'm just going to come in here with like here. And then we're just going to touch it up a little bit with our Cajun Craze because we can. So I'm just going to color it. I don't have to color the whole thing, right? I can just do it like this. Alright? Just FYI, you don't have to color the whole thing. And then we'll just take it from here. So you're going to see that even though this is Cajun, the Calypso Coral, that's the same color this is this right here. And see, I'm getting two different looks in color, right? So it's just a matter of what you want to do. I'm hoping that was the right color, right? Yeah, Cajun. clips of cord. All right, sometimes, right, as I'm looking at this color, it's like it does not look like it at all. All right, that side looks like it's drying out. Let's see if we can go this side. All right, so definitely getting a different color. So you figure this is the same color right here. And I almost feel like I'm getting a pinkish tone to this. So this is where I'm going to come in and I'm going to put my Cajun craze in here. And again, right, you don't have to color the whole thing. You can just add some accents in here. And I know for sure I wanted to come down here like this. And then we can just add some accent around the color here too. And if I still can't get the color I'm looking for, then I will take and do what I just did to the actual one that we stamped out. So it's all about getting what color I want. I definitely don't want pink, right? I wanted more of a rustic look to it, like you would get with the terracotta pots. So I'm just going to come in here and color this. I'm just going to get a variety of color, right? Because if you go outside and look at your pots, getting pots outside, you're going to see there are a variety of colors, right? It's not like it's a solid, flat color. And we're looking for something that's going to really sort of blend in with this here. Okay, so that's fine. So let me go ahead and get this glued down. So so we're doing a mixture of things right now. We're doing a mixture of techniques as well as coloring tools and so forth. It's going to take you a little bit more time, right? But you're going to create the colors you want, the design you want. So this is going to go more or less on the inside more than likely, because the outside I'm already going to have done. Now the only thing is with this here is when you go put this on, is making sure I lined it up right. Can't look because of the white. I can't see the white from my angle. Just pull it down. Okay, there we go. And I got it on that side, and you see I've got it just a little bit off over here, so I'm just going to adjust it just a little bit. So the glue is going to give me a little bit extra time to do that, right? We sort of talked about this yesterday, or I guess it was Monday we talked about this when we were doing a class. It's just how doing, well, that really messed that up, didn't it? When we did the class, is that the glue gives you a little bit more time to mess around with things and tweak it the way you want to tweak it, versus if I had gone ahead and adhered it down. Okay, so I didn't realize that was going to be open right there for color, so let's see if I've got any color left on the tip of my pen. No. All right, let's use the Cajun craze here. Looking, here it is. All right, because I didn't get this here. So like I said, if you didn't get the color that you wanted to add just a little bit more texture to it and all, then I would take it's not a thimble. It reminds me of a thimble, but it's not a thimble. All right, so you want to make sure your color's off here too. So if I want to add just a little bit more Cajun craze to this, let you dry no matter what you go, then that's what I'll do. Okay? As I say, I don't mind working with it. I just don't want to wear it, right? I just don't want to wear it. All right. So let's get this going. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit more color here. And you see how we're going to get this. So I'm just going to do that. Just sort of like we went across the top. I don't have to do everything right. I can just do where I want. So I just want to, so you see I'm getting actually a little texture there. I'm not sure if you can see all that good or not, but just to show you. Okay, so that looks more like my terracotta pots outside. So that's what I was going for. I have some that aren't terracotta looking. They're like a blue or whatever. Okay, I'll set that slide there. And those, you just wash those out, right? Okay, so let's start assembling some of this now. So we got this here. It looks like we need a few more vegetables. Let's see what we got in our stash over here. Oh, here's a carrot that they used. All right. And I really like the wheelbarrow. I don't know that we can squeeze the wheelbarrow in. So we'll look and see. The wheelbarrow is just, I thought, was a nice touch. There is no wheelbarrow in hers, but you know, it's just trying to cover up some of the stuff like she did, right? She just added different things. We're getting a hello friend in here. So it's about what we get. We're about what she's got right there. It's just not the same exact rabbits. All right, so it looks like everything's pretty much up on dimensionals except maybe these two items right here. Everything else looks like they're up on dimensionals. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and put this down. I'm going to use glue. And we'll add our rabbit. So yes, the paper's pretty on both sides, right? When we create like this, we've got beautiful paper on both sides. All right, now we're going to come and put this little rabbit right up here with some dimensionals. So it's just a cute little set, right? So if you were a fan of Peter Rabbit or the different Easter stories, right, with a rabbit in it, this just makes it cute. Brings back fond memories. Fond memories. Alright, so we can get the carrots down over here. So if you notice that the stuff crosses over to the right, so we're not limiting to this right here, right? It just helps give it some different dimension as well. But you can see this one was definitely die cut out of paper because it's not white on back. So we have some that were, like I said, were punch outs. They came with the paper. Just put this right here. Yeah, and they got the carrot right up here. So the carrot here, as you put it up here, this they're holding cabbage. You know, I can put the carrot right there. I can put a dimensional under it right there, as well as glue, whichever works best. I'll put the dimensional right there, and then I'll just put a little dot of glue right about there. So basically, cover the feet. Take this off. And we're going to just let it cross over right about here. Okay. Now from there it looks like they put the tag there, and it looks like, if we look here, it looks like we've got several of the stuff here, as well as we're just missing our tag right there, right? So let's stamp Hello Friend. Now let's see what we're, so for me it's a matter of what color am I going to like, right? Because the fact is it's in, this is Lost Lagoon. Alright, I have the Lost Lagoon stamp here. So I wasn't sure if I was going to like the solid first stamp off or if we want the second stamp off. And if you ever cut up your paper for 4x5 1/4 to simply use for the inside of your cards, you have leftover strips like this here. So I'm just going to stamp it on both just to see what we like. Let me move the dimensionals out of the way. Move these guys all the way too, because I want to get most probably some radishes in here too, because I can. Alright, so we can. Do it in just a second. Put the radishes down here. Right there. Alright, let's put it right there. Let's put my glue up. Right, because today is all about the garden part of it. And that's what makes it fun. This paper here is that you've got all the different stuff, right? So I just sort of got stuff overlapping, right? So it's a visual of what you're going to see. Alright, now let's do some stamping here. And we're going to use this guy too. I'm going to use everything I had to die cut out, we're definitely going to use. Alright, so I've already teed these up. And let me just show you the different colors. So if I stamp, I just really need to tap it 3 times. So let's say we do this here. Okay, this is what the second stamp off looks like. Okay, so that's just going to be too light. So we're going to use the darker color here. And the other one they're using on here is Hello Friend, that we're going to actually cut and use as tags on here. So they've got 2 tags on here. One that's going to say Hello Happy Spring, and the other one that's going to say Hello Friend. So I'm just separating them here because we're going to cut them out, and then we're just going to trim off the ends here. So yes, I'm just going to cut straight here. And when we look at this one here, she set up there and she just cut this one at an angle. So we're fixing to cut this one at an angle, and we're going to trim it off just a moment here. Alright, so it's just cut an angle just like this right here. Okay, that's all that's done. Just a nice clean, and we're going to put it right up here. So it's going to be like right up here, and it's going to be up here with the dimensional. So we're going to have it, see if we can get it a little bit lower. See how we're going to like it? Let's trim off this edge here because it's really making it stick out too much. So right when we sit up there and we case and we look at what somebody else does and we want to go recreate it, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly the same, right? We get inspired, and that's the whole thing, is to inspire you to go out there, create, and share. So we are going to put this on dimensionals, but that's what it's all about, right? Creating, sharing, and giving. So yes, when we use the different techniques like this, it's just going to take a little bit more time, unless I'd already colored everything in front for you and I didn't show you how I did it. Okay, then we'll add some ribbon and bling just like she's done. All right, and then we're going to put Hello Friend down here at the bottom. So the other thing that I really like that she's done, and I don't think I've ever done it the way that she's done it. I have used DSP on the inside of the card, right? But it's usually a strip. In this particular case, she is gone and looks like she's added almost a 4x5 1/4, just as if you were doing white cardstock. So we got this at an angle. And then we're going to have this in an angle. Alright, we're just going to put this down here with dimensionals, and we'll add some ribbon to it. So the main thing is, right, is I made sure to get an ink and stamp with that was going to match the paper here. So that's sort of what brings it all together. And we're just going to add this. And she's actually done the envelope, which is a nice way. I really like the way she did the envelope, because I usually don't do envelopes because I don't want to have to do all this stuff. So I'm just going to actually just put this here. So ours is going to be exactly like hers, but we're going to put bling on it, and we'll put some ribbon, and we'll get there. Okay, so here's the front of the card right here. All right, just fun. We've got our veggies in there, right? Okay, so on the inside, what she's done is she's actually taken, and I've actually just used my templates again. I started off with a 4x5 1/4, and I'll show you what she's done. See how she's done this here? I'm not sure what those are. They almost look like pomegranates, but I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so we're going to do similar. All right, so we're just going to take our tape here. So for those of you that always say, you know, I've got a lot of DSP and so forth and all, but this is a great way to use your DSP, is use it on the inside of the card too. So I'm just going to put this down. I think hers is a little bit narrower, see if I can get that out, narrower than I've got. And then she's gone in and she's just put this on the center of it, right? So she's actually stamped it, thank you so much, and we're going to do that. And she's added some rabbits, and those peas are in there, and some flowers. So I'm going to do this right here. Isn't it nice? I like that, and I'll have to try to do that more often because I like the way she did that. And then she just stamped it in the corner. Now see, I don't usually do that. I usually center everything. So I always, you know, I do like watching things from people from the UK because they look at things differently, do things differently. Not to say they don't do things the same, but they, you know, they definitely offer some different ideas that we just don't usually do. Alright, so I got my thank you so much there. Alright, so I'm going to get my green beans here that I did a minute ago. Here we go. So the green beans are going to be right here. Now, because this is the inside of the card, I'm not putting anything up on dimensionals, right? So I'm just going to actually glue this one down. Here's that wheelbarrow I was looking for. And if I wanted to put on the left side here, I could, but I'm not. I'm just going to put this here. Get my green beans here. So you do have a little bit of room because the card folds right there. So if you want to go off, you can. If you want to stay it all in here, you can do that too. But see how that's going to look? Just having thank you so much. And let's see, we've got a rabbit in here. I don't have the one out that she has because I'd have to fussy cut it, which I could, but I didn't. Let's see what else we have here. We could put the rabbit here. But I think this is nice right here, right? Because we got the thank you so much. We can put some radishes over here too. And let's see what else. She's got some greenery there. I don't have the greenery, but that's how we're going to do it here. Okay. So there you go. If you want to do a touch of green or anything down there, I would just use the sponge. I guess it's a sponge dauber. It's a dauber for sure. I'm going to say sponge is the chunk. So, but yeah, if you wanted to add a little extra color, you could just use the dauber and just give a little greenery down there. And you could use a post-it note to sit up there and mask it so it wouldn't go off anywhere. So let's see if we wanted to do that. This is what it would look like, right? So it'd sit there and mask it right here. And if I wanted to add a little green, I brought 5 of these daubers today, so make sure I had plenty. Then I would sit there and just take this here, and I would just come around here, right? Just add a little. Okay, there you go. So we've just added a little there, and you peel it off. There you go. Whoop, whoop. All right. So we'll put that aside, and we'll put that aside. Now that is our actual card. We still need to add bling and trim. It's a little trim to it. But let's do the envelope, because she also did the envelope, and I thought that was way too cool, and I want to make sure to show you that. So I just cut. So here's our envelope. And the reason why I like this one, this is like 3/4 of an inch, not quite an inch. What I like about this is I really don't like to have to cut, cover the whole back here and then trim it. So all I'm going to do is just looks like what she did here. It's just add a strip here, get it as close to the one edge as you can. And I could tell you, I'm going to use glue. First I was trying to think which I'm going to do. I'm trying to ballpark where this is going to end, right? So there's the one thing when you're doing this is like, okay, if I'm going to put a strip here, where is it going to end, right? Because I'm going to sit there and glue it. So I'm just going to sort of bend this at the moment because I'm going to trim it off afterwards, right? But I'm just going to bend it around here so I can at least get my edges pretty much there. All right, we're going to cut it off anyway, but at least it gives me a marker, right, to know where I'm going to sit there and need to put some adhesive. And then I'm just going to put this down back here. So we're going to come across just a little bit there. I'm going to come right here. Well, this she set up there. Let's see what else she did. Oh, she put a little rabbit. Ah, that made it look so cute. All right, I don't have a teeny tiny rabbit like she has. I got the one in the blue. So I can see if I had anything else teeny tiny. I guess that's what we'll do. We'll just do this one. I'm looking to see. And it just has it down. Now see how big this one is? So that's why you really need a smaller rabbit. I'll see if I've got anything smaller we can put down there. We're just going to trim this off. Both sides. Here. And you just got a very nice and finished look. And she's got it stamped back here. Happy Spring. So yeah, so I don't usually do this. But it's cute, right? It's cute and it all blends together and it just makes it really cute. So actually, I was telling in the class on Monday, it was like, am I going to go out and make 50 of these? No. Am I going to make 10 of them? Most probably not. Will I make, 1 to 5 or something? Yeah, I'll most probably do that. But I'm not going to go out and make a super bunch of them because I put a lot of work into it, right? So I already know that when I do something like this, it's going to go to somebody special. It's going to be due to somebody that's going to treasure and realize how much work I put in it for them to make it special for them. Let's see what we have here. If I want a rabbit, a smaller rabbit, I don't think I even have anything that's small. Let's see what we got to go with this that's smaller. Because that rabbit is really tall. We want the rabbit to be right there, but it doesn't need to be so tall. See, I want it to be right up there by the Happy Spring. But see how the ears are going to go over? I mean, I could put it right there, but I really see if let's see what we got smaller in here that would work. It might not be a rabbit, right? It might be a chipmunk, because there is lots and lots of chipmunks in here. Lots of chipmunks. I got acorns. I tell you, this one's really cute. Let's see how this looks. Let's use this one. I like this. It's just cute. All right. We're going to glue this one down, and then actually on the front of it, she actually stamped on the front of it too. So I'm just going to put this here, like that. Okay, on the front, she actually put the rabbit here and some carrots. So yeah, by using your dies, you're going to get definitely more rabbits and all than you have on punch outs. You'll have a lot of punch outs, but still, it's only so many of each one. All right, see, we got this here. Now, she did hello friend as well as thank you so much. So if I'm going to stamp the same thing, I'm going to stamp thank you so much first, and then I'll do the hello friend above it. So let's do that there. And put this right here. And then personally, I'm not sure how that works with the postman. Mail this out. I'm sure it's just as long as you have the enough room over here to do all the information you need for the post office. Should be good. If you're not for sure, just ask your postman when he comes by, the post person, whoever delivers your mail, and ask them. They most likely can tell you. And I'm just going to come above this here and do the hello friend. All right. So there's a nice thing about when you have these actuals here that you can actually see where you're stamping and so forth and all. And the last thing they added here was a single carrot. A single carrot. Let's see if I have a single carrot like they did. I tried to pull out everything I could earlier. But I don't think I really had a lot of single carrots. I think if I wanted more carrot, oh, there's one. There we go. I was going to say I might have to stamp it and then die cut it out. All right, here we go. All right, I think we're pretty darn close now to what she did. It's not going to be exact, right, because we got different colors we're working with. But we got it with what we've got, as close as we can. So let me show you what we did, what she did, and what we've done. All right, I didn't use my terracotta pots. You know, if you wanted to, we could put them down right back here. And it goes with them. Mouse and a teapot, but you know what? We got stuff in the backyard. We use everything for planting stuff. Anything that you can put dirt in and put a plant in, pretty much. So we've got cups, we've got egg cartons, right? We just got about everything. I'm just going to put that right there because I can. All right, so let's see what she's got. So this is what we're finishing with. So this is the envelope. Okay, here's our envelope here because we just didn't have a small bunny, right? But we did it up front. Our color's a little bit different because we don't have the same colors that this person has. And then when we look at our card that we just made, here's what she did. You can look, like I said, it's down in mine. You can look in my stuff right there. And here's what we did. All right? So it's different, similar, but the same, right? Definitely inspired. And so we've got a very nice card. And we also did the inside, right? Because here's the inside here that she did. And here's what we did on the inside of ours. All right? So it's just that easy to go and take an idea, dissect it, and go and create your own version or exact version, depending on what you have. So I hope you enjoyed it, right? Because we used different techniques today, and there are so many different techniques that you can do. So we've used everything from using the dauber to color, to using the pencils, using the blender pen, right? So, and then we've also just used the dauber for several things. So you can use it just about for anything that you want, right? It's all about getting the techniques that you want and creating what you want to be able to go out there, create, share, and give to someone else. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we want to thank you for supporting us here on Facebook as well as on Instagram and YouTube. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next week with Keep It Simple, Step It Up. And you'll just have to wait and see what we're going to do next week. All right. Have a blessed and amazing week. Hope you have some good weather, just like we're having some good weather. And look forward to it. Bye.